Hey, what's up YouTube? Ahnaris here with another StarCraft 2 broadcast. Today I'm going to be remembering to unpausing the game. There we go. So this is going to be a 4v4 mono battles on Megaton, a map that most of you I'm sure have played at some point, with myself spawning as Terran. We all know that I am just so fantastically amazing with that race, in sarcasm. White Knight, the Teal Zerg. We have EonShiKeno. Now, he is a feller StarCraft 2 caster. Yeah, I'll tell you what. No, he is actually a really good player as well, so I will give a link to his YouTube channel at the end of the video, as well as in the video description, if you want to check that out. And also we have XXSXGX Niru X. I always add too many X's into a name with more than one. Then up here at the top, our opposition is Crimson. Those of you who watch my videos know he was recently featured in a Metalopolis 1v1 peep mode, which sounds kind of creepy, but I promise you it's a fun game. We have Poogs, the Red Terran. How can you not laugh when you hear that name? Soul GS Soul Raz, and finally Sherlock, who I think has the most standard name in this entire game. Easiest to pronounce, so big props to him. So, just to kind of give you guys an idea of the unit composition, for my team, it is Hydra, Queen, Reaper. For the opposition up here in the north, we have Banshee, Immortal, Siege Tank, and High Templar. So, kind of looking at the composition, it's not looking too good for us. I mean, we need to put a lot of pressure on them early because we're not going to have a really solid way to deal with these siege tanks. They will be able to smash my Reapers, smash the Hydras, and of course the Queens shouldn't really fare too much better. So going to be looking to use these Reapers super early. Now, I don't know a good Reaper build at all, so I just decided to go ahead and try to get as much gas as possible, opening up with a pretty standard play, getting up my orbital at around 14 supply. A little bit early with that, but that's okay. We have Niru opening up with a spawning pool first, maybe looking for an expansion. Yep, looks like that is indeed the case. Also, EonShiKeno going pool first. Now, really, I think this is a good idea for him, considering, you know, Queens, obviously very early, very helpful early on, rather, and he is going to have to try to get those out as soon as possible because, well, let's face it, we really don't have any super bulky units, so to speak. My Reapers are going to be good. He is also going for the proxy hatchery, which unfortunately was found. Le sad face, but, you know, Sherlock the Administrator probe is going to come up and make sure things are going according to plan. Now, Poog's going for a very fast command center, looking to try to macro up. As you see, he's got double gas right now. Not really working on... Oh, there's another hatchery going down for EonShiKeno, as he is looking to, again, further delay his own expansion down here. But really, at this point, it's not that huge of a deal. He wants to just try to do as much delaying as possible on the mineral line. Basically, just to try to stall the tanks, stall the Immortals, because, again, we're going to have some difficult time with the tanks in particular. Immortals, they won't really be too much of an issue, assuming we can get the Hydras over to meet them. Of course, Hydras off of creep are very slow, so that's going to be somewhat of an issue. But basically, EonShiKeno is trying to buy enough time for us to get up, and with this Reaper, start doing some economic damage. Again, trying to delay the siege tanks, because we're not going to be able to do anything once they're out. One CV goes down. Looks like more taking damage. Oh, watch out, Reaper. You are so very close. Again, take note that there is another hatchery up here still going down. Finally, a photon cannon is being placed in an attempt to try... Whoa, Reaper. Got to watch out for that again. It's the ballsiest Reaper ever, as he is kiting around trying to keep those SCVs away. It's pretty difficult when they're so very close, so I'm trying to actually widen the gap just a little bit. Second Reaper is now here in the field. The first one only has 5 hit points, and of course you see this drone still running around. EonShiKeno tried to come and take this gas, however there was already one here for Poogs. I cannot say that. Oh man, so the Reaper, first one does go down, unfortunately. Again, I think it only had like 1 hit point, but another hatchery trying to take shape down here. All the while, Poogs has a very low worker count. You see a lot of them chasing. Also, Solraz chasing the drone, and now my Reaper continues to apply pressure to the mineral line. Get away, you pesky SCV. You don't belong here. You're not even mining minerals. You have no place in this family. Unfortunately, I did see the Immortal and decide to try to run off, but oh, look at that opportunity strikes again. 2 more SCVs. Let's just look at the worker count right now for our Terran player. 13 SCVs for Poogs, as he does finally manage to get a factory down. I do have another Reaper on the way, and I'm also trying to build up more down here as well. And as we see another hatchery going down for EonShiKeno as he looks to double expand behind this hatchery pressure. I'm going to go ahead and close this. Actually, we'll bring up the production tab for just a moment, let you guys see what's going on, and then I will close it because 4v4, man, that production tab just gets in the way so much, especially when you go on later on down the road. So I'm trying to take out the tech lab because, again, I want to try to delay the siege tanks, and unfortunately there is already one siege tank. It does go down, however, so that's going to further delay his production. He does have that command center, which is not building SCVs. Also, his first command center is not a planetary yet, or not a planetary, but an orbital, so really going to be hurting his economy there. We see over here that Crimson, he's just working on pretty standard play right now, trying to get up his expansion, going for the robotics facility, getting those immortals up. And I'm only focusing on the Reapers so much, not because they're mine, but just because that's pretty much where most of the action is here in the early stage of the game. Now, my thought process was to try to do as much damage as possible early on, and then later on, not going to worry about it so much, because, again, Reapers are going to become increasingly ineffective because of the ability for siege tanks just to obliterate them. You know, cannons, very effective as a Reaper deterrent, and so I'm basically just going to be made obsolete as the game goes further and further on. So it's going to be up to my teammates not to kind of push it off here, but it's really going to be up to them to carry us into the later stages, particularly, well, we've got to make sure we've got to get some good harass, good expansion denial. That's going to be kind of what I'm relegated to. You see, unfortunately, that siege tank does knock me out as I move in with another two. That was just incredibly, incredibly bad micro on my part. Actually, no, that was no micro. That was just pure stupidity right there. So this expansion is vulnerable to Reaper harass. Looks like so is this down here. And, of course, EonShiKeno continuing with the Queen production. Now, over here, let's pay attention to our Hydra players for just a moment. We got a couple of them coming out right now. Let's just look at the army size right quick, and we see, okay, so pretty good for blue and purple. Teal as well, looking pretty solid there. Everybody's about even. There's a couple stragglers there. Unfortunately, Sherlock is what in the... Oh, yeah, okay, he doesn't actually have any army right now. He's working on High Templar. I saw that 0-0, and I'm like, what? But I forgot he actually went ahead and did a single expansion. So the Immortals trying to knock out this hatchery. Again, Immortals are very, very good at taking out just buildings in general. That's pretty much going to be what their specialty is going to be this match, because you don't want to put them up against Hydras, as you can see, especially not on the move command, as I think that one was rallied down. We do see here that more Immortals continuing to be produced. Let's look up at the Banshee guy for a minute. Solrez has got 2 more on the way. I believe he already has Cloak researched. Yes, he does. And the High Templar is starting to come in as well. So this game is definitely looking like it's going to be taking shape for a long macro fight. This, again, looking very vulnerable. This kind of vulnerable, but the problem is there's a planetary fortress here, so I'd have to go all the way around, take a hit, and then, of course, there's that cannon right there as well. Looking like we got weapons level 2. Yeah, weapons level 2 on the way. And you'll notice that I haven't really taken an expansion yet. I've worked on throwing down additional SCVs, but I want to have this extra command center primarily so that way I can scan against the Banshees. Because again, I don't want to be taking the income of players who actually have, you know, units that'll be useful this match. But I do have a few Reapers still, and I want to come in and knock out some more probes. Of course, I'm knocking out the gas there. That's the target because he is working on those Immortals. And also, of course, we do have that weapons level 2 on the way. Knocking out the pylons because I wanted to try to delay production. Unfortunately, there's another one over here, but I do manage to knock out this pylon right there before having to retreat back. And Niru looks like he's going to be moving towards this expansion. Sherlock going to be losing that much-needed gas. I think he does have Storm. Yeah, he does, but really, against this, with just a little tiny amount of energy, there's only so much he could do. As you see, once those storms have been dodged, this Hydra player can run away. Alright, well, he is going to run away instead and not knock out this Nexus. But that's okay, though, because MONOBATTLES is all about just having funsies and not dying to storms. As you see, we are accomplishing both here. EonShiKeno's Overlord keeping tabs on Poogs the whole time. Never going to get old. as we see a scan there as well. Just want to kind of keep tabs on the robotics facility, pretty much just to see how many of them there are. And so that way we can know, okay, maybe we've got to start watching out for suicide runs against the buildings. Those are actually fairly dangerous. Now, EonShiKeno coming in and tanking some of the damage for the Hydras against the Immortals. Very smart play there. Also, he'll be able to lay down a limited number of transfuse. You see his energy's not so high right now, but keep in mind, this man is just the creep commander. Look at all these creep tumors littered throughout the map, doing a great job on that. The creep is going to be especially important because the Hydras, of course, as I mentioned before, are very, very limited in mobility without that creep, but with it, they're able to zip around the map super, super quick. I don't know if you've ever seen that cartoon. I think it's a Flash animation that I believe Day9 did a little guest thing on, where it has the Hydralisk, and it shows like this little announcer, I think it's an overlord, he's like, check it out, man, we're going to give Hydras a speed boost while they're on creep. And then it has this Hydra going at like a stupid slow speed. He gets on the creep and he just starts zipping around at like 0.00002 miles per hour faster. And he just makes this most hilarious laugh. It's like... that's okay, that sounded a little creepy, but still, it made me just die laughing, because I was watching it at work, and I definitely had a socially awkward moment there. Oh man, I wish we had Psystorm in our team. That would have been beautiful. But alas, we do not. My Reapers are short. Whoa! Speaking of Psystorms, holy freaking bloody farms, Batman. Ooh, that's got to be bad for the crop. That'd probably be good for the crops there. But Banshees, of course, going to be looking to clean up the creep tumors, as well as these two SCVs, man, going in for the kill. Run! Little Hubert. Oh, poor guy. He did not make it through the night, nor did he make it back to the farm, where there is apparently... this is the safety farm. That's what we're going to be calling this here. Because, well, these crops, they are utterly destroyed under the command center, but the ones around it, I mean, they're going to be pretty spot on safe. Now, this expansion does go down, as you can see here, the combination effort of the Oh, poor Queen too. We're having a lot of senseless death this game, like really not accomplishing a whole lot. Like the Hydra's getting obliterated. Of course, we've got the corn crop down here just getting annihilated. Oh man. Well, you know what? At least we've got creep tumors literally everywhere on the map right now. So creep spread, very good. White Knot keeping his Hydras a little bit farther back. I like this. This is a good position to have them in, because he's going to be able to spread this creep and have kind of a back entrance, of course, over most of the action has gone on over here. And so when I say back entrance, I mean he doesn't know about the tanks yet, but it's a good assumption that if you don't know what's going on, you know, all the action's over here, you might be able to sneak something in, unfortunately. Now, we don't see that being the case with all these tanks here, but you know, the Zerg player, Hydra, he could drop those with some Overlords into the natural, knock that out, and retreat without too much difficulty. Also, a Nidus Worm is something particularly useful for our team. Now, these guys, you can see, Solres, this northern team, they're just kind of facing an increasing uphill battle only because of the fact that we've been able to deny so many expansions. The High Templars have been relatively defensive this entire time, and there goes a bunch of Reapers right there. So, unfortunately for them, they're just kind of getting themselves back into a corner, and that's why I've kind of focused on more about what's going on over here, because, well, there's 3/4 of the map and a quarter of it for the northern team. But, I mean, that being said, you know, there's still a chance that they could come through and win this. They do have the siege tanks, which Poogs has definitely got this expansion on lockdown, so unfortunately for their team, they do need to claim this expansion. So, like I said, yeah, with these High Templar, they could actually push out. Oh, very nice feedback on the Overseers. But you know, the Hydra's keeping them in check over here. I think it's just because Sherlock is really just kind of playing defensive. He's only on one base right now, so look at his gas right now. He's got 16 gas, 4.7k minerals, and of course, Solres down here, throwing down a bunch of PFs. He's in a little bit better position, but still. You know, this base is only going to last so long. I do have a random command center floating around over here. As well, we look down and see EonShiKeno continuing to build hatcheries. We have Niru. Well, he's not really building anything right now. He is sitting just a bunch of Hydras up here at the top. And really, that's what needs to happen at this point. I, of course, have my one base down here with a couple Reapers. Again, just kind of keeping my energy saved up for for scans. As you see right now, I've got a bunch of money right now. I'm not really planning on doing a whole lot with it. I'll probably actually end up sending it to somebody. I think I do at some point. But these High Templar are really the reason that these Hydras aren't able to come and push forward. So I come in with my Reapers, basically trying to hope and knock off an Immortal or two. I do force another Storm. I'll lose one or two Reapers in the process, but it looks like White Knight moving forward again as the creep slowly extends north. We can expect to see him try to make a run at the base, but does he know about those siege tanks, though? I don't think he has any intel up here recently. No, not really. He hasn't been up there lately. So, well, there's all the intel he needs, knowing there's a bunch of siege tanks there. That poor Hydralisk just finding out information the hard way. As Crimson moves out with his 2 Immortals. You can only build that up so much. Immortals going in for the kill, and they're going to be parking themselves along the side. The Hydra's pushing forward again. He does lose a lot of creep there. This is exactly what the top team needs to be doing right now. They need to just try to push this creep back, because once that creep is back, that's going to kind of push back the limits of the Hydralisk. Again, they really do rely on that creep to make quick getaways, which against the Psystorm is absolutely essential. So we look over here and see that Queens are starting to amass in the middle as a siege tank knocking out some of these creep tumors. We look and see this expansion still being denied. Not really. Oh, okay. Well, that Overlord is definitely not phased by that Psystorm. As more and more command centers go down, this man is crazy with the command centers. That is a lot of changelings as well. So I wonder if he's going to notice the mysterious Marine Guard that's suddenly taken position in front of his siege tanks. Look, a couple of them have unsieged, and they just don't give a crap, man. They're going to be moving forward. Hydra's coming and catching these siege tanks slightly out of position. Manages to get a couple kills, but loses a lot more than he gains in the process. As the Reapers still float around, trying to find any entrances that they can to this base, knocking out one command center as the High Templar are nowhere to be found. We, of course, can see they are way back here, and I am long-distance mining over there. We do have more Queens amassing in the center. EonShiKeno clearly has something planned here. We'll have to wait and see what that is. He could be going to try to maybe rush this siege tank line. He's going to have to get some more creep timbers in if he wants to actually make it up towards the siege tanks. Cannons have finally gone down. This is going to allow Crimson a nice forward position for the High Templar to fall back on. This is really, really important for them to get these 2 expansions and basically just try to push out, knowing that they have the ability to counter these Hydras, and of course the Reapers really gives them advantage. They just have to take it. They just, well, not to use the word again, but they really just have to abuse that advantage. So we'll see how that goes. We, of course, have more Queens still kind of amassing in the middle, and the Banshees running around, causing all kinds of trouble here. Running cloaked with an Observer, just kind of keeping up behind it. Observer is obviously on the same team as the Banshees. They're probably just trying to keep an eye on creep tumors, any sort of burrowed units, anything of that nature. So we have EonShiKeno's plan slowly coming into play. We have him building a bunch of Overlords getting ready to drop. Could it be in the base up here? We see there's a bunch of cannons over. We watch their trajectory. We see they're headed... They're headed towards the siege tanks. We do see those High Templars still sitting in position as the Overlords make their way. A couple Queens drop on top of the siege tank. And oh, here we go, folks. EonShiKeno with the Queen drop on top of all of the siege tanks, knocking out almost all of them instantly. A couple solid transfuses there as well. Breaks this line and allows the Hydras to move in and start knocking out all of the infrastructure that Poogs has built for himself up here. All the while, you see the High Templar still sitting in position very close to the planetary fortresses, and we do have those creep tumors going down. This is pretty much just a ticking time bomb right here. Once this creep expands, you're going to see those Hydras coming into play and trying to knock out these High Templar. Oh, but you see the Psystorm once again able to fend it off. The Reapers, honestly, you know, again, I could send them in there, and I think actually I kind of want to at this point, but with all of the High Templar there, one storm, you got to remember, one storm can knock out pretty much all of those because they are so very low in health. We do have one scan going down, checking out the Banshees as the Hydras continue to press up north. We have a few Queens still littered around the field. We can, of course, just take a look at the units tab and see 27 Queens, 29 Queens, having just popped out a few fresh ones right there. And we do have while actually sending in one Reaper at a time to try to knock out the SCV building that. Psystorms continuing to unfold as the High Templar are forced to back off once again. We now have them sandwiched in their high ground. Will they be able to bust out at this point? It's looking less and less like so, unless Sherlock just gets some clutch Psystorms on top of the entire Hydra army, and they can push out with pretty much all they have, which I don't think is a lot at this point. Hydra's pushing up the ramp towards the siege tanks. It's pretty much going to be GG for Poogs as he just... oh, man. He really just does not have a lot left to fight with. He's got one siege tank. That's about it. This expansion kind of getting nitpicked, you know, taking off an immortal here, kind of an immortal there, forcing a storm, another storm, and of course, I think I actually end up suiciding my Reapers at some point just to knock out one of those planetary fortresses. Oh, going in for the Reapers. We knock out a bunch of them, forcing the storms. I plant my Reapers on top of this High Templar, basically hoping that he will storm himself. But you see that they have started to leave, and there's the GG from multiple people, concluding this game with the EonShiKeno Queen drop, folks. So thank you guys for watching. We're just going to go ahead and drop a bunch of manor scans there, making sure there are absolutely no burrowed units whatsoever under there. Again, if you enjoyed it, please make sure you subscribe and also check out EonShiKeno's channel as well. You'll find a link down in the video description as well as the little pop-up that you just saw a minute or two ago. And with that being said, let me know if there's any other games that you'd like for me to show you lately, whether it's custom maps, more mono battles, or 1v1s, 2v2s. I'm going to keep up with the teamworks too. So, that's pretty much all I've got for this video. I know you guys have kind of wondering where the videos have been lately. I'll tell you, I'm about 3 weeks away from graduating, and then after that, I have to move somewhere, potentially named California. That's going to be pretty epic as well. So, more to come. That's going to open up a lot of opportunities. You guys can surely reap the benefits of that, and I'll see you in the next video.